Greetings to you all. I welcome you to the class 8 English, Unit-3 Prose. Today we are going to see the prose Sir Isaac Newton, the ingenious scientist. Ingenious means inventive, creativity. This prose is written by Nathaniel Hawthorne. There are so many great people in the world. Now, let's see some of them. Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He was an Indian scientist and politician who served as 11th President of India. Thomas Alva Edison. He was an American inventor and businessman. He developed many devices in fields such as electric power generation, mass communication, sound recording, and motion pictures. Alexander Graham Bell. He was a Scottish born inventor, scientist, and engineer who is credited with in inventing the first practical telephone. Albert Einstein. He was a German born theoretical physicist who developed the theory of relativity, one of the two pillars of modern physics. There are some of the great people whom do we know. Now, in this lesson, we are going to learn about one of the great persons like them in the world. He is none other than Sir Isaac Newton. He was also called the creativity of genius. Sir Isaac Newton was an English mathematician and physicist, considered one of the greatest scientists in history who made many contributions to many fields of science. Now let's know about the author, Nathaniel Hawthorne. Nathaniel Hawthorne was born on 4th July in 1804 in Salem, which is in America. He was an American novelist, dark, romantic, and short story writer. His works often focus on history, morality, and religion. The biography of Sir Isaac Newton was published in Nathaniel Hawthorne's True Stories from History and Biography in 1851. He died on 19th May in 1864. Sir Isaac Newton was born on Christmas Day in the year 1642 in the village called Woolsthorpe in England. After his father's death, his mother had to marry a clergyman and went reside not with them, and so he was brought up by his grandmother, who sent him to school. He was chiefly remarkable for his creativity in all mechanical occupation. Sir Isaac Newton manufactured various sizes of saws and little tools. Isaac worked with so much skill that he seemed to have been born with saw axicals in his hand. He contrived to make many curious articles. His neighbors and grandmother admired at his inventions and believed that he would be a capital workman in future. Hope you all know what is the meaning of workman. A man who works with his hands, especially making things. Some of his friends advised Isaac's grandmother to apprentice him to a clockmaker. Apprentice means work to someone to improve the skills. Besides his mathematical skills, Isaac seemed to have a taste for mathematics, which would be very useful to him in that profession. He made curious clocks like dancing figures, the sailing ship as a pendulum vibrate, and the clock worked by the dropping of water. Newton also made the Suntime, which is still existence at Woolsthorpe in the corner of his house where he dwelt. Do you know what is the Suntime? It is a type of clock used in those days that insists dark days caused by the pointed piece of metal used between the sun and the clock surface to show what the time is. He possessed the wonderful skill in simple ways. To find the strength of the wind, he jumped against the wind, and by the length of his jump, he calculated the force of the wind. Newton frequently went to the new windmill near his house and examined its parts and internal machines for many hours. When the windmill was at rest, he watched the process by which the millstones revolved and crushed the cranes. Thus, he learned about the construction of the windmill, and he made his small windmill with available materials like box traps. When the windmill plays in the air, even a puff of wind from the mouth of Newton's made the windmill work, and the handful of grains put into the little hopper soon turned to snow white flour. Here, hopper means funnel shaped bins for feeding grains into the mill. Newton playmates always admired at his toys, particularly the windmill. They thought that nothing so wonderful had ever been seen in the old world. But one of his friends said that he forgotten something while making the windmill, when Isaac assured that he had forgotten nothing. They all guessed what is that. It was Miller. He might have made the miniature figure of a man to not have been able to move, but performs the duty of the miller. As Isaac grew older, he started thinking beyond the making toys. Whenever Isaac was alone, he was either absorbed in thoughts or engaged in some books of mathematics or natural philosophy. And at night, he looked up with curiosity at stars and wondered whether there were worlds like a home. He thought himself how great was the distance from the earth. After 14 years, Isaac's mother's second husband, being now dead, she wished Isaac leave to school and assist her in managing the farm at Woolsthorpe. For years, he tried to turn his attention to farming, but his mind deeply went on becoming scholar. So, his mother sent him back to school and afterwards to the University of Cambridge. Children, do you know what is scholar? Scholar means a person who studies and has a lot of knowledge about a particular subject. Isaac was the first to find the nature of light. Do you remember the story of an apple falling on his head, which need him to discover the force of gravitation and which keeps the heavenly bodies in their places? Once if he got an idea, he never permitted his mind to rest. He searched out all the laws by tracking the orbit of the planets and the stars in the sky. When he was doing his researches, he spent his nights on a lofty tower gazing heavenly bodies through a telescope. His mind was above this world. He thought that he could spend greater part of his life in the world that like thousand millions of miles away. Now, Sir Isaac Newton was a very old man. He was a renowned thinker and was a member of parliament and received the honor of knighthood from the king. But he was not proud of his earthly fame knowledge. Newton died at the age of 85 in the year 1727. His name was written in letters of light formed by stars midnight in the sky. Mr. George and Mr. Temple remark that Isaac, if he had lived longer, he would have found all other famous inventions of today. I would like to conclude this lesson by Isaac's words that to myself I am only a child playing on the beach while vast oceans of truth lie undiscovered before me. Dear children, it's time to know about the synonyms of this prose. Curiosity, eagerness, absorbed, engrossed, earnestly, sincerely, ingenuity, creativity, wonderful, fantastic, perfect, flawless, endowed, provided, pride, arrogance, endurable, tolerable, acquiring, getting, devote, dedicate, confessed, admitted, admiration, respect, ceased, stopped, believe, trust. Okay, children, I hope you all have understood this lesson very well. Study well and happy learning. Thanks for watching this video.